is Wednesday, my dudes.
Welcome to another episode of Wednesday Toast, a podcast about comic book stuff where we talk about all kinds of comic book related stuff. My name is Lex, and I am here with another recap video for Black History Month. This time it is Static Volume 1, the original ongoing series. And that's because this week, the new history of the DC Universe, the Dakota Incident, issue number 1 comes out, and it's going to be a lot of milestone talk for me today and probably the rest of the week. So I figured it's easy for me to talk about the episode if it relates to what I'm talking about online. Static is such an important character to me. Milestone in general is such an important universe to me. And as I mentioned in last week's episode, it is a complicated relationship because of their situation with creatives, just with their relationship with DC and operations in general, I think. I do hope people will go out and support this book. I don't know what the future holds for DC and Milestone. I hope that initiatives like the 100K push and things like this bring awareness to a certain group of comic fans that feels underrepresented, but I feel like it's an ongoing thing. At first, there's a group of people that were trying to help sort of promote this and push this book. We got some kickback from a lot of other creators that were saying, just support indie books instead. You know, DC doesn't deserve your money. And while I agree in a sense to that, I'm a huge indie comic book fan. And maybe not as much as like outside of indie publishers. I need to look at like some self-published book. I do need to do a better job about that. But we got some kickback where it's like, just support that. And I agree, but I do feel like initiatives like this are important. And if they don't move the needle a ton, it feels worthy, especially when you care about these characters so much. Maybe one day they will be free from DC. Maybe one day they'll be free from DC and be able to thrive in their own universe. That's wishful thinking. I tell you, I do say this, if I ever win the lottery, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to buy Milestone Comics and give it a real push. And all that to say, this week we were reading Static Volume 1. This episode originally came out in 2021. So I'm excited to listen to it. I'm excited for you to listen to it with me. Static Volume 1 was an ongoing series published by Milestone Media from 1993 to 1997, I believe. Obviously, starring Static. A lot of people know him as Static Shock thanks to the show, but I was just a huge fan of this back in the day when I was younger, big fan of the show. And so I'm excited to re-listen to this on a week that I'm celebrating Milestone. I hope you'll listen. I hope you'll support the book. And next week, we will be back to our regularly scheduled episodes. It'll be good to have Simon back. It'll be good to not just listen to old episodes and get a hankering for like reviewing comics again. And yeah, that's it. I'll check you guys next week.
Welcome back to the show, guys. Thank you for listening to those ads. And if you are one of our patrons, we also just dropped an episode of Wednesday Vision. So check that out. It's our second to last episode. It will be as underwhelming as episode 8. So
Yeah.
way more underwhelming, actually. This week of the podcast is a weird week. We're not going to go panel by panel, and I didn't do any. Simon did summaries. I didn't do any fancy summaries, mainly because I read this book when it originally came out, and I reread it today. I feel like if I wasn't such a fan, I would have, and it didn't come out in 1993. I could have more like pros and cons type of thing. It's not really my cons aren't really relative because it's so old.
Mhm.
So we're just gonna fly by it. Go through. We read issue 1 through 4 of Static, not Static Shock for you people out there that associate that damn show with the original book. It's just Static. Came out in 1993. DC Comics continues its launch of the Milestone Comics line, which is weird because Milestone was a property before DC Comics absorbed them. And I could do a whole episode. I've been writing this article for a website about how DC has been botching the relaunch of Milestone just because I just feel like they don't really give a shit about it, but it's one of those like black card things they have.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, we have diversity. We have these black characters that we've kept on the shelf since 1999. Guess
Man,
what?
see them?
Relaunch. They're not good enough to be DC characters, but we have them. They can't
Mm-mm.
eat lunch with Superman, but we do own. So
Yikes.
We're cool. We got black friends.
Yeah, clean it up.
It's their yeah, it's their we have black friends card. So Scientologists will become millionaires. We're going to buy Milestone, and then we're going to sit on it because we're lazy.
Yeah,
Cool.
I don't,
So we read Static. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of issue one. Okay, so issue one starts out, and it's so weird because I don't have like an actual synopsis like I do usually every week. It's the book that came out in 1993. Dwayne McDuffie wrote it. If you know who Dwayne McDuffie is, he is one of the all-time greats. And if you don't know, you should be ashamed. He wrote Justice League Unlimited, a lot of stuff, a lot of things in Justice League, Static, Ben 10, which is a popular show among the youths.
really.
Yeah, he was just a genius. And I believe he had a heart attack, passed away way before his time.
Yeah.
So it sucks that things like this just get left. I feel like if he was still around, it wouldn't be stuck on the shelf like it is.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Static number one, the first collector's issue, which I own, and I thought about buying a few more because I heard they were making a movie, but I didn't. It starts out very cool. It starts out sort of like issue two is the origin story, which I really, really liked. Issue two is the origin story and how he's static. This issue starts out old school comic vibes, like a hip, cool Peter Parker.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely got Peter Parker vibes. Static starts out busting up some thugs. I think they were beating up some arcade guys or something like that.
Mhm.
Or no, they're trying to get Freya.
Frida.
Frida? Frida is this love interest of Virgil, and these yellow jacket thugs are trying to bring her to their boss, Hotshot. And he comes and he beats the crap out of him. He was just like insanely good superhero. Like he beats the crap out of these guys. I've always liked that Static's powers are like kind of vague, extremely overpowered if you really think about it. Like for him just to have static electricity powers, he's basically like a watered down Magneto kind of.
Yeah. When he first comes in, he's packing too. They draw it. It's
Yeah.
the way he draws.
They got
That's a cool
they have
panel,
to
but
assert that they have to assert that dominance on the first issue.
yeah, it's a very cool panel, but yeah, he comes in, he's got that big dong too.
Yeah, and he just beats the crap out of these guys. I love the art style. Again, I don't have a lot of cons because my cons would only be relative if this was a new book.
Right.
And he comes in. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I really dug the art style too. I noted that it was like Frank Miller before he quit caring. Really, it's really great, especially the inking and the. I do have some things to say about the coloring, but the inking and the penciling is really great.
Yeah. The way he uses his powers, I love that it's just like it has a cosmic feel to it, even though it's not.
Mhm.
It's just like wild, it's crazy, sort of they really nailed the static feel to him. I mentioned that it's like a Peter Parker story, but they did a good job in making him different than Peter Parker. He's obviously a smart guy, obviously, and he is a nerd, but like a cool nerd. And even in the 90s, it wasn't really cool to be a nerd, so this was ahead of
Right.
its time.
Yeah.
This guy is very comfortable in his own skin, makes jokes, he has friends. Peter Parker in high school was like straight up wearing a vest and a tie, had the big stupid glasses.
Big round.
He looked like a guy that I would try to beat up. Was-
Because damn, dude, get some style.
Yeah, or a guy that you just felt bad for. You see him in the hallway, like, oh,
I think I have to hit you.
that guy's gonna get shoved in the locker. So yeah, he's beating the crap out of these guys, saves the day. He comes on really strong to the chick that he saved. Obviously, it's his love interest, but it kind of gave me the vibe of like being in high school and not really knowing how to talk to girls. You don't know that you're overstepping your boundaries, man. You're just a kid. Your hormones are raging.
Yeah. He's obviously not getting the hint.
Yeah, definitely friend zone. Definitely. He comes home and he doesn't have the Aunt May vibes. His mom's like stern black mom. Scary. So, which is really weird because of the show, and I forgot about this. The show, his mom's passed away.
Mhm.
She gets gunned down in a gang shooting, and it's just his dad and his sister. But in this, you don't ever see his dad.
Not until later. Not until the
Yeah, like she mentions him in the first issue, like he's there, which I thought was weird. Like come down before your dad was home. Maybe she was just being a dick. And then later on, she said in a further issue, she's like, your dad got pushed around or lost his job or something like that. Don't be like your dad because your dad's a fucking wimp. Jesus,
He's
why are you so mean? But this girl, he's leading him on, man. She calls him on the phone. He races home to the second to pick up the phone to this girl Frida calling him so she can tell him about another guy, which is happens to be him.
Hmm.
She's not leading him on. They're just friends. But
He's kind of leading himself on, really, as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She's not helping, but it's not her fault because she has made it very clear that they're just friends, and she does it in every panel.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, more scenes of him in school. The friends I thought were weird. Like, are two of them gay?
I don't know. One of them's like mean. Like, calling you. They're all talking about it. Like, yeah, you're gonna be wearing that tutu later, you fag,
Yeah, they
whatever.
drop. Yeah,
It's like, dude.
that's one thing I do have to say about this book. There was a lot of that. There's like a lot of racial tones in it, which I knew it happens in real life.
Hmm.
A lot of weird, like people sexual orientations was weird. They have this
90s.
guy, yeah, this guy with a big '90s suit on, which they're just all friends. The whole friend dynamic was weird. I needed a little bit more, just a little bit more,
Right. Yeah.
because they come into the panel, they're just like all friends, and I don't know who's friends with
It
who.
really didn't seem like they were friends, to be
Yeah,
honest.
because Virgil's being a dick. I thought these guys were going to beat the shit out of him, but they ended up kind of being cool. And then this guy is sort of like a gangster that's wearing the big suit,
Yeah.
but he's not.
Yeah. He knows where to get a gun, apparently.
Yeah, yeah, because in this first, the thugs come back. They're in class, homeroom, whatever. The thugs come back, which we talk about in previous issues. Stories going from 1 to 11. This one goes from 1 to 11 like real quick.
Within a panel.
These thugs come into the class and they're like, it's funny, Joker bad guy style. They're like, hey, we're hall monitors. We're coming to get Frida to take her to principal. Hot shot. And I was just like, okay, that's funny, corny bad guy stuff. And the teacher, she's saucy. She gives them the attitude back, and she calls him, or whatever. They talk about his penis at some point. She says all the microscopes are in the lab,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh yeah, pistol whip.
Yeah.
I'm just
Smacks
like,
her right in the fucking head.
pistol whip. And then they pull out all these guns on this class, and it's just insane
Yeah.
for a moment. And even that guy, I can't remember his name. He's like the bigger guy in their friend group. He's like, hey Virgil, tell him a funny joke so I can pull out my shotty. And I'm like, what? What? You have a shotgun in your big ass head? I was like, Jesus Christ. Virgil, I thought was cool. Does the Peter Parker thing again? It's like a very well done homage to Spider-Man.
Hmm.
He drops out the window. He even referenced the panel says 20 feet below. Like he just fell out the window
Yeah.
because he can't fly unless he has something to fly on. And he mentions it like, I wish I had, a circular disc. That's his thing. He flies on manholes, trash can lids, but then he uses this metal trash can, which I thought was great because it's just like, whatever, it fucking works.
Yeah. It's flying around. Yeah.
And then he gets to this hotshot guy. And of course, they've claimed this playground that they claimed it. So this elementary school shut down. I don't know.
Bad neighborhood, man. Bad hombres.
Very. And then you find out that Hotshot, his name is Hotshot because he has fire powers, which I thought looks cool.
Yeah, for the
The
most
way
part.
they did it. They don't explain it, but I mean, looks cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, they kind of explain it with his origin. A lot of these other guys seem to.
Yeah. They explain the reason why they got powers in the next issue, but in
Mhm.
this one, they
It's just
just
a
like, you know
guy.
what, I got flame powers. I got super. He looks like he has increased speed with extreme flames.
Yeah. Jet engine.
And none of this seems to phase Frida at all. She flips him the bird. She calls him ugly. I would be pissing my pants if this guy's making molten lava fireballs with his hands and shit. And Static shows up. He's cocky. I like him, right? And I'm in. I mean, this is very 90s, corny. I'm in. They have a bad guy fight. Somehow he's just like a badass, kicking bad guys' asses, really beating this guy pretty. I mean, it seems like it's a pretty good fight.
Yeah. Totally.
But then when he gets close to him, his hood falls back and he sees who it is, and then he just shuts down mentally. And then like that panel to me was my least favorite panel in the entire book, where it's just like
He's
it's like
just
that's
beating it. No, that's
yeah.
that I kind of liked that. I thought it was cool that he maybe had increased punching or whatever, but I was expecting in the next couple panels for him to like come back, be like,
Mhm.
"Don't do it," and then him be like, "Gotcha," and then do something. But nah.
He just left. Beats the crap out of Static. Static drops down. It was cool because I expected Static to like have some quips, but it really showed that he was not okay. And it was a perfect cliffhanger to me because I was like, damn, why did he have such a meltdown? Obviously, he has some sort of connection with this guy, and big reveal to his love interest that he's Virgil.
Mhm.
The end of issue one. One thing I will say is very 90s,
Mhm.
a very 90s vibe. Felt like a 90s, one of those typical 90s shows black shows, black movies back in the day. Lots of that kind of lingo. The art was good to me. What do you think about the colors? What were you going to say about the colors?
I just so again, I enjoyed the art and I like a lot of the coloring, but in some areas it was a little too faded for me to understand what was going on. Visually, it was just like a lot of shit's going on and the colors are all washed out.
Yeah.
So I'm having trouble discerning.
I wonder if it's because it was reprinted from such an old book, because you read it digitally too, right?
Yeah.
Did you notice that some of the text, that was my problem, and some of the wording or the lettering was, like, way different. Like, at one point, it seemed like it was typed on a typewriter.
Mhm.
Like, 1 or 2 words was typed on a typewriter, one whole bubble was typed, like, on a typewriter. It threw me off, and I was like, "What is that? Why?"
I didn't see too much of that, but I know what you're talking about. There were some that were like it was like it didn't scan correctly,
Yeah.
but it definitely
So maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was just color problems from it being such an old book.
yeah, but it does definitely so like The Dark Knight Returns had this similar like watercolor vibe to it. It was water
Yeah, for sure.
so that was probably just the style of the time.
I will always and forever love this static suit over anything that they've cut. Like the show suit was, I remember being a kid thinking it was the dumbest thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I did not like that show suit. I don't like any version of the suit that has come out after. This is my favorite static suit. I don't know why they would change it from this.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I was gonna say that, like what they did in the new series, like to make it look like the show was just weak.
It's so weird to me.
I think this the suit is cool. And it's simple. I mean it's really
It's so
simple.
simple.
But I
He's
love
a
the
kid.
hat. I think the hat
Yeah.
really does it.
Yeah, me too. It looks cool when he has his jacket on,
Yeah.
because usually he has this big ass yellow jacket, like over exaggerate. It ends up looking like a cape, like Spawn's over exaggerated cape. And Icon, another character that he referenced from Milestone, he has this crazy over exaggerated green cape, and so it kind of looks like that, except it's just like a big ass yellow jacket.
Yeah, I thought it was like a raincoat, honestly.
Yeah,
Which would make sense for the
it is.
character.
I think it is. I think it is. Especially it goes with the suit, because the suit is just like a lightning bolt on one.
I didn't even realize it had anything on it. I thought it was just like black.
No, it's black and then it has like a
Yeah, I thought that was
on it.
just a sign, like a shine. Yeah, that's cool.
And so, yeah, that's issue number 1. I muddled through that again. I've read this when it first came out. I've read it numerous times over the years. I love this character, and it reminds me why I love this character, because Peter Parker, Spider-Man, is one of my favorite characters, and then this homage was done so well. He's brown, I'm brown. Obviously, I can relate to him a little bit more than I can Peter Parker.
He's cut, dude. Frida should be into him over that zoot suit wearing dude.
Yeah, that guy's fucking.
So when you go into issue 2, he's talking with Frida, and they're talking about how he is fucking static, like that's a big deal, right? And she's kind of like trying to help him out, and he's like, I don't, he's acting weird about it, about being a superhero.
Yeah, like, he doesn't want to talk about it, and he's obviously still shook from what happened just now, getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah, I mean, not only psychological trauma, but physical trauma. Yeah, but let's see. We kind of end up back at school. She knows who he is now, and he has this situation. There's all these dudes that are trying to hit on Frida like constantly.
Oh, so this is him telling so she's asking him what happened, and this is like a flashback. He's saying how he knew Hot Streak and how they got his powers, and then so that's what Hot Streak hits on her. I guess she's new to the school or something like that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so that explains a lot. And I don't even think I realized that when I was reading it. I will say that I love the writing and I love the book. I liked it for what it was. There are some things that I just didn't understand what was going on. And I don't know if there's like a wider world thing here that maybe I'm not tapped into. But like you said, so we've got this guy, Biz Money, who's trying to get her digits or whatever. And he's just gross.
He's so gross, yeah.
But like you said, that's the guy that becomes what's his name? Hot Streak?
Hot Streak.
Yeah, but he's also very racist. Like it's amazing, like again, for somebody that's trying to appropriate the culture by calling himself Big Money B or whatever, Biz Money B.
Yeah, and he raps.
Yeah, to call him this racial epithet and then beat the shit out of him. It just I don't know. It was strange. And then he gets saved by his friend. But then his friend's like, "Hey, you need to protect yourself and don't back down from that dude." I know where to get a gun.
Yeah, you should kill
Yeah, and
him.
it's just like, what the fuck is going on? And it and this one, like you said, being the origin story, you see that he's kind of picked on by people that are just hanging on his stoop. I guess that's his sister, which I didn't
That's
realize.
his sister's a huge B word.
Yeah, but just like trips him up so he falls on his face, and then his mom's like kind of not very nice to him either. She's not very
Yeah, that's the
sympathetic.
part where she's like, "We moved away from our town because of the gangs, and then we moved here, and you're just gonna let these white people beat you up. You are acting like your father. Like your father could have went to medical school, but he let someone else take the job. Like, don't be like your dad."
Right, yeah, it seems like she's not sympathetic to him at all, like,
Yeah.
doesn't care. Anyway, so this is when he talks to Frida for a little while, and then we come back to the present after he's been hit, but then we go back to the past, he kind of is explaining the story, but we go back to his friend basically offering him a piece, like a gun,
Mhm.
to go take this dude out, which that just seems so like you said earlier, that's like 0 to 11. He went from
Like, "Hey, this guy beat you up. You need to murder
yeah,
him."
shoot him right in the back. No, and I don't know. He seems like such a smart kid.
Yeah.
Fall in that trope. I don't know. Seems odd.
Yeah.
I guess that was just again, it was the times. That was the thing.
Part of the times. Probably happened a lot, yeah.
But he goes out and they're like, "This is where I got confused about
This is a part of a bigger story, yeah.
yeah,
I
what
can
was
accept a little
actually
bit of that.
happening." But he goes out and the way it's illustrated is really cool because it's like he's targeting this guy, but he's like shaky and he can't quite. And then he gets right on there, but he doesn't pull the trigger because he's a smart kid. He shouldn't have got that far to begin with.
Yeah, he says, like, "I'm not a loser, I'm not all these things, but I'm also not a killer," which I thought was a really good scene.
As he's there, he like goes over to this dog, pitches the gun in, which the way this is drawn, he's like it seems like he's close to the Brooklyn Bridge, but now he's further away. I don't know where he is.
Mm.
But anyway, he's just there and there's like these riot police or something and this green gas and
It's called quantum juice. This event is called the Big Bang, and it's how all the people in this area of Detroit, I think it's what it is,
oh okay.
get these superpowers. It's a moment called the Big Bang. It's this corporation testing out this stuff called quantum juice, and it's sort of like the same thing. Like we're testing it on these people because we don't give a shit about these people, and we just if they die, they die. And then all these people develop powers, and so you'll have people like there's a different society, Holocaust, which we'll meet is part of his power gets his powers from there. He's part of the Blood Syndicate, which they're a group, kind of like a superhero, super powered gang. They get their powers from that. So yeah, it is sort of a bigger world, sort of the basis of Milestone.
Yeah, when they kept talking about the Big Bang and Paris Island, I thought it was like a nuclear.
Yeah, it was just that moment. But it was a bigger event, but in this book it's just talking about his experience.
Right. Because he like sees this guy that's just like integrated with the brick wall now.
Yep. He says some people just fly away.
Yeah, yeah. He's just, and then there's all these weird things hunting him now, like drones, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like weird egg robots.
yeah, they're very strangely drawn. They look like what's that X-Men character or X-Force character that's like a techno,
Damn.
you know what I'm talking about?
Not Deathlock. You helped me. You got
His
me.
name is
Put me,
Floppy Disk.
put me on the spot.
My bad. He's gonna look that up. But so yeah, he's now being hunted by these things. I guess they're part of the facility. Again, it's like a wider world thing that I didn't quite understand. But he's, figures out his powers pretty quickly, and then he explains to Frida, he's like, and the legend was born, and that that's where Static was born. So
Yep.
it's cool and it's also there's a sequence of him practicing stuff like that. It's always cool to see.
Yeah, he says like he worked out, which is it's cool to see. We talked about it in Quid Credible. I like those scenes where it shows him like trying to progress. But for this guy, he went from being like a dude that was getting beat up to like his powers play a lot into that,
Hmm.
like him being smart and he says he comes up with creative ways to use his powers. But man, he really kicks the shit out of most of the bad guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then it just so the book kind of finishes off with him deciding he's gonna go fight Hot Streak again, and he does, and he defeats him relatively quickly. Like
Yeah,
it's not even a
he,
problem. Uh,
he uses his brain this time.
yeah, which is cool. No, I mean he's smart before. I guess he just kind of
It was like a PTSD thing.
yeah.
Like he had an emotional reaction to him getting his ass kicked before. Warlock is that character that you were talking about.
Warlock. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he just kind of does that, and then he goes back and tries to hit on Frida again, and she's like, "Not,
Like, hey, yeah, we're cool, and it's cool that you're static, but we're
yeah,
friends,
that
man.
doesn't change. Like you're still the dude. Like you having powers doesn't make me wet." So,
Yeah, right.
so anyway, and then you kind of see our big bad. Like you get a hint
Mhm.
of him and this weird
It's always a
gelatinous,
shadowy
yeah,
figure.
gelatinous figure that's with him. And he says like, "Test him. You know, he
Yeah.
seems powerful. Test him and see what he does."
I thought it was cool. His dialogue in this says, "If he's weak, take him. If he's strong, hire him. And if he gives you too much trouble, kill him."
Yeah, smoking.
But then, yeah, but in the next issue, the way he portrays it is like, "Hey, man, I just want to be your friend."
Mhm.
It's like, you just said that he should kill him.
Right. Yeah.
Evil.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what do you think about the art? The art stays pretty consistent in this. Same problems, I think, as far as like light or coloring and things like that. Very loose on some of the fight scenes, but it's 90s. Like it's really on theme for 90s art.
Yeah, but I think even that, like I like it. I like it more than most '90s stuff because he doesn't have a bunch of pouches. It's not
Yeah.
crazy overhatched. He doesn't have like veiny muscles and sharp teeth and wide eyes and like crazy hair. Like he's just a dude, and I really appreciate that. His costume is really really simple. I love that
Same.
he's wearing like a what I assume is like a Malcolm X hat. Like I don't know. I love the hat. I think it does a lot.
Yeah, that has perfect.
So so I'll
Yeah, for him to change suits, just
yeah, is
it's the goggles. It's just that's I like, and I'm someone that likes goggles.
right. I do think that the way they explained it in the new series, like he just grabbed it off the shelf because that's what he had. That was cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you don't mind, since I have notes
Go ahead.
on issue 3, I'll go ahead and do that, and then
Yeah, go nuts.
I'll finish up issue 4. And we're sorry for. So here's what happened. I'm gonna give you a little thing. So this particular collection collects the 4 issues of the original Static, and then the 4 issues of the newer Static Shock book.
Which is sort of like a reintroduction of the character,
Yeah,
kind of like bringing people back up to speed when they reintroduce him in DC.
right. So as I'm reading this, the original issues flow so well that I don't realize that issues that have even passed. Like it'll show like a splash page, but I
Mhm.
haven't realized that so that's why I was started reading issue notes for issue 3, which I thought was issue 2, and that
Yeah,
so I started reading the new issues, which I thought were like issue 4. I was so discombobulated. Like set me straight. So
kind of.
kind of. All right.
I was just like, just tell me what to read.
Yeah, you tell me.
Because
I'll read it. All right. So we start issue 3 with Static showing his heroism and intelligence as he struggles to save citizens trapped after a disaster. You don't really know what is going on here, but you see there's like crumbling buildings, fires, things like that. The first pages are preface though, and we Tarantino our way back to 20 minutes earlier with Virgil at work. It's kind of action packed right at the beginning, but you still, and this is the moment where I started to not really, couldn't really tell what was going on. And I don't know if it was just colors, but like he frees a cop, he gets people out of this building. It was just
Mhm.
the way it's drawn. There was like, it needed an extra panel maybe to see what the actual action was.
Yeah,
But yeah, we Tarantino our way to 20 minutes earlier with Virgil at work. He has a typical minimum wage high school job, kind of a bitchy boss, but she's also just looking for, as someone
yeah,
who has someone underneath him at work, he's looking for, she's looking for consistency. You know, maybe she's not bitchy,
yeah.
but she's
Well, she's not nice, but she's not wrong.
right, right, right. So, and now he has this added complication. Everybody has trouble when they're in high school caring about their job, especially minimum wage. But now he has the complication of having a double life. Hero, superhero, and he's a kid. And we've seen that with Spider-Man and other heroes. Like it's hard to balance that. And he's like, I gotta go. There's some shit going on. He gets a phone call from Frida, which he's not supposed to be having personal calls, or not from Frida, but he's not supposed to be having personal calls. And then he's like, "Oh, I've got to go. My whatever." And she's like, "Wait, is your mom sick? Is your dad sick? Is your sister sick?"
Mhm.
And he's like, "Was like, you said your sister was sick last week, and the week before that it was your mom, and the week before that it was your dad." And he was like, "No, it was a car accident." See, you can't even get your shit straight. So like,
Mm.
she's on to him.
And I like that it's not so easy. Like old campy comic books, it was always like they never really explained how they got out of those situations. Like they just run out and it's good. And so this is like he got fired from his job
Yeah. Yeah, he gets back there
to
later.
to save to save the day.
Help wanted. Yeah, she's like in the middle of a sentence and he just walks out and takes off his apron. But we learn at this new site, we're back at this site where there's this disaster. We learn that there's a new villain, Tarmac, that caused the disaster and has it in for Static. He's telling everybody, tell Static, I'm out for him. I'm coming to get his mama. What he says. Then we cut to Virgil and his sister. You see a little interplay between them. They have some fun little back and forth, but again, she's a turd.
She's mean.
Yeah, about him being fired, and she just can't wait to tell their mom so he can get it.
She seems kind of worthless though too, because she's just always there. She doesn't
Yeah,
have a job. She's always hanging out with her friends. He makes a reference to her not being in school or anything.
yeah.
So she's like, it's like a mommy dear situation because the mom eventually says some shit to the daughter, but like for the most part, she's pretty hard on Virgil.
Hmm. No,
Maybe it's
definitely,
just
yeah.
the dad.
So anyway, let's see. Yeah, they have a fun little back and forth. His sister tries to make a phone call, and he like shocks the phone. He's like, "Oh, we didn't get that phone fixed." And then he like overcharges the batteries so on the remote control so that when she changes the channel, it's going to shock the shit out of her, which I thought was great. But he gets blamed for it anyway. Like nobody knows about his powers, but somehow he gets blamed for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. And I do like, again, I know that this was like their shared universe before, but I like that they mention Icon in it a little bit
Yeah.
about him not being Icon, and Icon's like the big, powerful superhero.
Like a Superman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. So Tarmac calls our boy out, and Static must prove himself in a fight. Like you mentioned, I wrote his demeanor is very close to that of Spider-Man. In my opinion, he cracks jokes probably for the same reason. He's trying to
Yeah.
make the villain think that he doesn't care, kind of throw him off balance. He kind of beats the shit out of Tarmac in their first meeting.
Like it, and that's why I said like even the thugs at the beginning, it seems effortlessly. Like so far, I haven't really seen him go up against a challenge.
Right. Yeah. Even Tarmac thinks that he has him on the ropes when he like wraps him up, but he just flies up in the air. Tarmac's like, oh, the heights, I guess. I don't really know what he's
Yeah.
worried about. But it gets to the point where Tarmac starts endangering citizens around them.
Yeah.
And so he goes to save them, and Tarmac's like, yeah, you're a bitch for caring about them.
Yeah.
He's like, calls him weak for caring about the people, which he was just whooping the shit out of him. But he basically says, like, meet me at, I don't know if it's abandoned, but meet me out by the mall at midnight and we'll settle this. So you kind of get this, like, I can't remember if there's an actual, like, montage or whatever, but he starts planning for this meeting. He's not going to go in half cocked, he figures
Yeah.
he's going to figure out a plan. He makes a new little surfboard that's like kind of fold up.
Yeah, because he's talking to his friends at first, and his friends are like, "You shouldn't. He's out of your league. You shouldn't fight him again." And he's like, "What are you talking?" Half of his friends are like, "Static just beat the shit out of him," and then Frida's like, "Well, Static shouldn't fight him. Static should leave it to Icon."
Mm.
And then once his other friends leaves, he's like, "Hey, I'm not stupid. Like I know it's a trap as well. I'm going to plan for it. I'm going to use my brain. I was using all my powers just now, and so." He couldn't beat me with my powers. He's not going to beat me with my brain.
Right. Yeah. 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 And she's the only one who knows what he is. So he's like, but he's kind of obvious about it when they're on the train. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, maybe Static thinks he's like, he says it almost as if it's in first person. But he meets him out there, and the first thing he does is like trick him. He uses some like a floating costume to kind of trick him into using his powers, and then shocks the shit out of him because it's like an inflatable doll or something filled with
clown balloon or something.
filled with water. The clown balloon reminded me a lot of Ninja Turtles. I don't know why.
Yeah, so
But yeah, like he shocks him when he's in whatever water comes out of this inflatable clown. And then he just keeps fucking with him. Like he pulls a fence around and like wraps it around him, gets through that, but then he drops some Freon in his body. So he kind of gets colder and colder. And he's like, Tarmac, like obviously if I make you cold, your powers are less effective. So he just keeps hitting him with shut. I didn't see what he has a salad.
yeah, I looked at it multiple times. I couldn't figure it out
Can't
either.
figure out what's in the salad shooter. Dry ice,
I think it's dry ice.
but then he has a canister full of dry ice.
Yeah, it's just more dry ice. I
I
don't know. It's very Home Alone, Looney Tunes style. Like he's just fucking with them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And but it gets kind of dark because he's got a steamroller lined up to just roll over this fool.
That's the Looney Tunes part to me. That's Looney Tunes.
Uh-huh.
Like that's what they do in that shit. Like they steamroll over people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like it just seems like if he's all cold, it seems like it would just blow him out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rules of the universe, I guess.
And he probably doesn't know that if that you know what I mean. He's smart, but he's also a kid, so he's just like overconfident at this point, just fucking around,
Right. Yeah.
unaware that he could actually do some real damage.
Yeah.
Or just naive.
Right. Yeah. He makes some joke about making him the I-75 the living interstate. But it's at this moment when he's just completely and utterly whooped Tarmac's ass that a new character has shown up, which may be, I mean, I don't know the history of this character, but he shows up and he's like, enough. Like, I've seen enough. Please. Like, just originally, this is like, your business with my employee is over. Now you have business with me. And he's
Yeah.
like, you're Holocaust. That's not what he sounds like, I'm sure. But
Terrible.
yeah, and that's all I could think was like, whew, whew.
That's terrible. Holocaust shows up in Blood Syndicate. I think he's only in like the first 2 issues though. He teams up with those guys, but then he leaves, and he even mentions it in
Uh-huh.
issue 4, and he just has ulterior motives. So what'd you think about issue 3?
I thought it was cool, but like you said, like he just whoops the shit out of all these people. It seems like even like so he had this breakdown because I forgot his name already. D Money Biz or whatever. Biz
Yeah,
Money
yeah.
beat him up, like essentially. Like that's why he had but it seems like I don't know. That seems like a little much for him to just have a full blown mental breakdown
Yeah.
in the middle of a fight.
And then any other time, he's just like freaking seamlessly going through Ultra Instinct style, like not being touched by anybody.
Yeah. I think it's cool because it made me honestly, I really like the character. It made me want to
Yeah.
read more about him because he's just off the wall powerful.
But it is sort of like Spider-Man. Like, think about it. Spider-Man, he does have big story arcs where he catches beatdowns, but a lot of times the bad guys don't even touch him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he jokes around a lot, he dodges everything, and he's super strong. So a lot of times it's just him fucking with people.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's kind of a dick too.
Yeah, a lot of Spider-Man books are like the beginning. If it's not a part of a huge story arc, it's usually like him beating up some minor thugs as Spider-Man, and then it goes into like the major story.
Yeah. And it's usually somebody fucking with his head.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I like these kind of off the wall characters because at this time you said that Icon is not part of DC Comics. Like this is their own. I mean, not Icon.
Yeah. Static. So they are DC, but it wasn't like so DC picked them up because you'll see DC on all their branding. So I don't know how many issues in they picked them up. I know it wasn't long, but they didn't associate them with DC characters.
Okay, they were like
It wasn't part-
distributors.
So it was so it was they were just distributing Milestone. They weren't connected with any DC characters at all until way later on.
What I do like about this, and I know this isn't necessarily for me, but what I really appreciate about this is how identifiable these characters are for like their living situations, their family situations, their work situations, even their schooling. Like maybe they go a little bit too crazy with like how bad it was, but maybe inner cities were that bad in the 90s. I don't know.
I think they were. I mean, early 90s like that. I think they were. I mean, you see stuff I don't know personally, but I mean, you would see stuff on the news back in the day. It just seems terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen New Jack City. Seems crazy.
Yeah, that movie is crazy.
But anyway, I can
me-
identify with some of the characters. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely seems like, well, Dwayne McDuffie really made the characters relatable. You know what I mean? And just like Spider-Man's a white guy and I can relate to it, it's the same thing. Like, you know, people in your life that you can relate to, and you know what I mean, in some way or fashion. So I like it was a good superhero issue for me. It just felt like good superhero fun. Maybe it had a little teaser cliffhanger at the end, but it didn't have a lot of gravity to it. It wasn't like a big overarching thing. It just felt like a good superhero book. Like they had every intention on making this a long series, so they didn't have to set it up to be like 6 issues. We have to tell an intense story. They knew that because I think this run was like 45 issues, which is a lot. You know, obviously it's not Spider-Man in the thousands or anything like, but think about it, if a book comes out every month, that's a long time for this book to be coming out.
Mhm.
So I liked it. It was very good. Issue 4 kind of caps off like this second arc. I think the first 2 issues are origin, and this is like the first, I would say, adventure sort of,
Mhm.
which I thought was cool.
Yeah, it does. And like I said, like issue 4 just kind of starts, and it's hard to. I like how continuous it is. Like it
Yeah,
leaves you
that's
with
what I
this.
mean.
It's very yeah.
That's what I mean. They knew that it was gonna be a long story, so they just wanted to keep the story flowing. Like,
Hmm.
we don't have a cutoff date. Like, next month, an issue's coming out. There's not like, December is not the last issue. This is just gonna be a sort of a continuous story. It was gonna flow. It flows like a Spider-Man or like an ongoing series.
Definitely. So, yeah, I'll let you take it away if you don't mind on issue 4.
Issue 4 Issue 4 to me was really good. Holocaust shows up and it starts out with him. It picks up right where he left off. Like you said, it's very continuous. He is basically coming to recruit Static for his new business. And further on the story, we learn about Frida's social life, or I guess the character Static does, which has some negative implications on his 1 to 11 moment. For me, it was a huge, like, dude,
Yeah.
whoa. Okay, so Holocaust comes and wines and dines him. Tries to get him like, hey man, before he hits him with the we're gonna do bad guy stuff, let me show you what we got.
Yeah, it's like
And then
it's like Ninja Turtles when Sam Rockwell is walking the kids through the arcade.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Let me show you what we got first, and then I'm gonna show you what we gotta do to get it.
Regular
So
Mentos. Sorry.
so he's whining and dining him, pretty much lets him go in this fancy 90s limo, pretending to be his friend, very, very charismatic. Um, he hands him a drink to break the ice, and it's not like alcohol or anything. He gives him a soda
Mhm.
because he knows he's like a kid, so he tries to be a nice guy. He's very charismatic because you don't think like this guy's a bad guy.
Yeah, really doesn't seem that way.
And so they're talking.
Other than his name is Holocaust.
Yeah, they go to this compound and he shows them what he can do, and he says, listen man, all this stuff can be yours. I'm not even asking you for anything. I'm asking you just to have my back.
Mhm.
That's it. And we're just like, okay, as a 16-year-old kid, you're like, damn, I got fired from my job. My mom's on my ass about making money as a kid. Okay. And not to mention in this issue, it's everything's compounding on Virgil. His home life, his social life,
Mhm.
his love interest, work, just like being stressed out, I would imagine, dealing with school and all those things and being a hero. So all this stuff is compounding. So it sort of makes sense why he has this breakdown, but it goes from them talking at Holocaust's compound to like, okay, let's take another ride. And they just roll up on this like mob boss's house. Virgil gets out the car and then Holocaust like screams from the window, like, hey, tell your boss, I'm gonna beat him up. And then they start shooting at Virgil, and Virgil's like, hey, I guess Holocaust has the power to explode people.
Yeah, just catch things on fire. He almost seems like
Yeah,
Hot Streak. Like, I don't know.
yeah, yeah. So and then as he's about to do his power thing, and Virgil's like, "Hey, I got this. I can just take their guns and shit like that." But then these dogs come out. Virgil can fly, but black people are scared of dogs. If you're black and you're listening to this and you're not scared of dogs, you are special. And I'm terrified of dogs. I don't like dogs. Simon will attest to that. So it made sense where he was running away, even though he could fly. It goes back to the whole mental thing, like him getting beat down. Like even though he has superpowers, he's still a kid. And so, like, if he was a kid, he saw dogs, you automatically run. That's how it was when I was a kid.
Mm.
And so he just automatically, even though he can fly, he's still like, these dogs are about to get me. Then the Holocaust just like explodes these dogs,
Yeah,
which I
it,
thought
like
was,
burns them up and throws them. And I realized that what you're talking about with the mob guys. I thought that Static Shock had done something to their guns, but I see now that they blew up and like blew their arms off or whatever.
yeah,
Like it's just
yeah,
kind of in the background. But yeah, the dogs, that was intense. You don't see a lot of that.
yeah. Blows the dogs up, throws them at the bodies, and then says, hey, tell your boss we'll be back tomorrow, basically.
But he has a good point. He's like, your boss has been killing our people with drugs and gambling and whatever else. And
Blood Syndicate, and I should preface with this, they aren't bad guys. They are sort of like a inner city team that they think that they should protect the inner city
Mhm.
at all costs. So they're like Punisher, anti-hero type things.
Yeah.
And he was on that team. But his mentality is they should go out and take. Like because look, that guy's a bad guy that they're taking from. They're not taking from good people. And it's just a little too far extreme. Like we should go out and take. Blood Syndicate's like, no, we should protect what we have. And so that's why he doesn't work with them. And he's like, tell your boss we'll be back tomorrow. Virgil's like,
it definitely seemed like it was like, yeah, we got far, but we'll be back later.
we'll be back. Yeah. Maybe I would assume that the boss is hiding somewhere and he kind of figured that he would be hiding after all the commotion. So he was just like, hey, we'll be back or something like that,
Mhm.
putting things together. for the sake of the story. Virgil goes to talk to Frida, I imagine, and then bum bum bum. Frida is making out with whatever that guy's name is.
Larry.
Larry, yeah, that's a very Larry thing to do. Her and Larry are making out. He's very weak-minded. Like, it seems like not that his powers are based off of his emotion, but, like, he sees this and then just falls out of the sky, just, like, falls out of the sky. And then I like it because in his head, it shows, like, all these things like, Larry's talking to him, but it's just the repeat dialogue of what Holocaust said to him.
Yeah, yeah. Throughout this issue, I thought that was interesting. I thought it was cool. He's having conversations with whomever, and they'll, instead of saying whatever they're saying, he's hearing what Holocaust has said.
Yeah, and so he's constantly being reminded, like, "Oh, Holocaust was right. Like, people will betray you. People will go behind your back. Like,
Yeah,
you have to be the taker."
if you don't take it, somebody else will.
Yeah, and so he finds out that his love interest that he this whole time has assumed has been in love with him is getting busy with Big Pants Larry.
Yeah, even though she has definitely said that that wasn't going to happen. But I feel for him because it's like high school. It's so high school. Like I hate
It's
this.
very high
I
school.
don't want to generalize because, I don't know what kind of.
No, it's very high school, but his emotional reaction to
Well,
it.
not only that, but it's this girl who's like his best friend, seems like a smart girl, and she's dating this like dumbass who can just like pull guns out of the air for you.
Out of his big pants.
Yeah, he's like the mask. He just pulls
Yeah.
them. But yeah, no, I feel for him because it's like I remember those feelings of like I'm an actual pleasant human being. I won't say nice guy because nice guy is kind of a negative connotation now, but it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'm a pleasant person and I I think you're great and whatever, but obviously, this sucks. This
Yeah.
is bullshit. Like it's not
Yeah.
your fault you're not attracted to me, but this sucks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're really, really good friends. We're best friends, but that's not the same thing as
I also want to see your boobies.
yeah, it's not the same thing as dry humping each other on the couch. So he goes back home. His mom starts immediately riding his ass. Like I said, it compounds on him.
Hmm.
And even his mom's dialogue starts to become what Holocaust says. And so he's getting pissed off. And I mean, I get it. He's saving the world.
These panels made me uncomfortable. He's sitting there in his tidy whities and his mom's still yelling at him. He's like trying to pull
Yeah.
on a robe. It's like, damn, woman, give him some privacy at least.
It compounds, man. And
Mhm.
it's like, it just happened last night. He just also watched all these guys and dogs get exploded. So this stuff's starting to make sense. Like I can take from the bad guys. I can do the Robin Hood thing. I can take from the bad guys and like keep myself, take care of my family, what I should be doing. But man, it really hits home. This next panel, he goes to this. I would be pissed off about this. This is bullshit. He's at the arcade or at at the comic book shop, I guess. And his friends are all talking about. I thought it was another cool situation where they're talking about other heroes, Icon fighting another hero who would win, which is something that nerds do all the time. And Virgil is here, an actual superhero with him. And they're like, "Man, I saw Larry and Frida making out last night." And they're like, "Yeah, we saw them at the movies." And they're like, "Or he's like, I saw Larry and Frida last night." And they're like, "Yeah, we saw them at the movies." And he's like, "Well, after the movies, they were making out." And they're like, "So what, man?" And it's like, "What? What do you mean, so what?" I guess they're dating. They're like, "Yeah, they've been dating for a long time, like before she knew you."
Yeah, that's the problem I have with all this. For her, this is his fault. Honestly, it's not her fault.
No.
Not to get into the emotions of high school. This is his fault for not knowing. But it's
Yeah.
also weird that he didn't know.
It's also weird that like it felt like they all weren't telling him.
Yeah. No,
Because
sure.
in the first issue, he even tells Larry, like, "Hey, man, I think me and Frida's relationship is about to go to the next level." And instead of saying, "Hey, man, like we're dating," he's like, "Don't get your hopes up, man. Y'all are just friends."
Can I tell you that one for one has happened to me?
That's fucking great.
In high school, there was a girl I liked, and I was talking to my good friend at the time, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I think I want to ask her out." And he's like, "You should go for it." Found out that they were dating. Like, what the
That's
fuck is
rough.
that?
Yeah.
So like that's why I can identify with him so well. But this whole, yeah, I mean, he's just a high school, and that's the high school emotions, man.
Yeah. And on top of this, he's saving the city.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He just saved 12 people from a burning building before this, man. And so he's like, "You know what? I'm going. I'm going to go to this place at 9 o'clock. I'm going to meet this guy with the terrible, terrible name."
Mhm. He's got
And
gold buckles on his shoulders.
they roll up on this house, demolition style. And Holocaust is like, yo, just go mess their house up, man. They'll come out. Just start breaking shit. He goes out there and starts breaking stuff. And he's like, you know what? This is all making sense. Like, these people have too much. These people are bad guys. They're killing black people and treating them like shit.
Yeah, they're mob
Drugs.
people. Like, they are
Yeah.
bad guys.
Racist. Let's bust all their shit up and take what we need. I get it. It's understandable. These are inner city people that don't have a lot of things.
Just to interrupt for a second, I'm sorry. But it does kill me that, like, he's bouncing shit off the wall and Holocaust just drives his Jeep in the house.
Yeah.
It's just, like, extreme, man.
And then he's just like, you did all right, but if you want him to come out, you got to smoke him out, and just like drops the roof down. And then he goes from 1 to fucking 11, man.
Yeah.
Made me, this part made me uncomfortable.
Right. Same.
So he's like, all right, we got him. We got the mob boss. And Virgil's like, cool, we did it. We can take what we need and we can leave and they'll stop messing with us. That's what I was under the impression that we were doing. And he's like, I got to teach you a lesson. Can't kill your daughter. That'd be messed up. I can't kill your wife because you wouldn't care. And he's like, well, your sons usually grow up to be terrible. So
They grow up, yeah.
how about I just burn his clothes and let luck figure it out?
Yeah.
And
But that's after Static has been like, nah, man.
yeah. Because he's like,
me dumb.
well, he asked Virgil, he's like, what do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down? It's on you. It's your tough call. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I'll just burn his clothes and we'll see if he survives. And then once he goes to do it, Static jumps in like, whoa, man, chill the fuck out. What was that?
Yeah.
He's like, we didn't talk about that. We don't need to do this. And it was the same thing, though. Like earlier in the issue where you say they roll up to the house, they do all this damage and leave. They do all this stuff. Static steps up to him and he's like, leave for now. But like, what?
Yeah. Well, Static leaves him, but it seems like he's just there. Like, he left Holocaust to burn their family alive. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I assume Holocaust just left.
I guess.
I would hope.
I don't know. You don't see that. But you also see that Static gets caught on fire. Like, he in this one
His
panel,
jacket.
like, his jacket gets all fucked up,
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I hope that he left that family alone because that's sad. As someone that has kids, that would be terrifying.
Mhm.
Maybe extremely uncomfortable. And then he goes straight to the panel where Larry's at Static's house and he's talking to him. He's like, hey, man, like, that's all my fault. Whatever. She just didn't want to lose a friend. Obviously, like, I don't know. I feel like communication is key.
Right. There should have been
Like-
something said there.
There should have been like, hey, that's my boyfriend. Like, he knows we're friends. Everything's cool. Like, the only thing that's not cool is you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. You being a weirdo. But again, like, this isn't some secret relationship. All his friends know.
It felt like a secret, man.
Well-
it felt like everybody was not telling him.
Well, yeah, but I'm agreed. But what I'm saying is, like, bringing it back to myself, the situation I was in, that was a secret relationship I didn't know about, but not everybody else. Nobody else knew about.
Yeah.
This is like a secret relationship that everyone knows about except for him, and that's weird.
But that's terrible, man. That's terrible. High school people, kids are fucking weird.
Yeah,
man.
high school sucks. Dumb.
High school sucks. People are weird. Kids are weird. They do weird shit because they watch too much TV.
And that's it.
So, what'd you think? Yeah, that's it. He ends up making amends with Frida. They're okay. They're friends again.
Mhm.
And he's okay. He's just okay. Okay ending. Good ending. The story continues.
Right. And that's where I jumped into the new series. Like, what happened? What happened?
But the new series is like years later
Yeah.
after he stops being a hero for a little bit.
For what I've
It's
read,
cool.
I think it's cool too.
It is good.
So I liked it. I loved the throwback. Honestly, it was nice to read
Yeah.
something older that was my age. So that's cool. The art style, I can't rave about it enough. I really enjoy that. I like Frank Miller stuff. I know this isn't Frank Miller, but I like
Mhm.
that kind of illustration style. Loose, fast and loose, but somewhat accurate. Than that.
Not correct. Correct is the wrong word. Details that just fit. Like they had certain details that really the right details, in my opinion.
It's not overly crosshatched, like we were saying. It's not like an old X-Men book. It's not like the early
Mhm.
Jim Lee X-Men books or any Rob Liefeld shit from the 90s like this.
Where everybody's freaking ripped.
Yeah.
I mean, Holocaust was, but I feel like that was even more important because he was such this over exaggerated character.
Right. But even then, I mean, it's not. But yeah, I dug it a lot, and it made me really interested in this character because I did not know. I've seen like one cover of this costume, but I didn't know about his early days. I knew about the cartoon,
Yeah.
and what you had talked about Milestone coming back.
And he's a very popular character, and I feel like a lot of people are kinda like that, like, they know him from the cartoon, they know him he was in Young Justice for a little bit,
Mm.
he was one of their side characters. He was in he had a tie-in with the Justice League in his cartoon back in the day. So he's been around, but, I remember when this comic came out, and I remember getting the polybags were big back in the '90s, and I remember getting the polybag book of him, Icon, and Hardware. I have the Hardware book with you back in Wichita
I
Falls.
remember you.
Yeah, so it was cool to reread this, man, because it's been so long. It felt like reading it for the first time.
Yeah, and I really enjoy this version of the character. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know why they're going back to it may be because it was popular with the cartoon or whatever, but this is the
yeah,
costume
recognize
that he needs to go back to. I hope that they bring it back. Um,
'cause it's so good, man.
it's cool, and it
Yeah,
really brings in like the Black Lightning vibe. Like that was a
yeah,
popular character, at least with the TV series. Not popular enough to bring it back, but
yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah, like sort of like a homage to Black Lightning.
Yeah, and not only that, I love the world that they have that Milestone has. Like they've got all these extraneous characters that you kind of know about, but you don't really have to know about. I will say that the writing, while really good, I really enjoyed the writing. It goes through the same thing we talk about almost every week. Like in 4 issues, there's a lot of rush parts. There's a lot of dial it up to 11 for no reason, like these big climaxes that don't make a lot of sense. But the first 2 issues were really cool. Like I like that it starts just like on a heavy note, like he's kicking ass, and then you go back and kind of find out, what happened.
Yeah, I really agree. That's the way to do it, I think.
Yeah. What about you? What did you think? I mean, you said you
I loved it. I love this character in general, and so it was good to go back and read this and actually get to experience this. And I like to read these things with friends. Part of my appeal of reading comic books is reading them with friends and talking about them. And so sharing something like this is really important to me. This character in general, it was fun. So that was a big. I love the art. I've always loved the art. I'm with you, man. The suit. It's insane that it's not the suit that they stuck with.
Yeah, maybe they feel like it's out of date. Let me ask you this. I don't know how recently you read this book before now, but like as an adult, like how does it affect you as an adult reading this book?
As an adult, and it's been a while, it's probably been over 10 years since I've read it. As an adult, so reading things like this in high school, you don't realize the way that you act in high school and
Mhm.
like the kind of sort of like over emotional. Like
Sure.
those tones hit way different now. You're like, oh yeah, that's a lot of his reactions and a lot of his emotional displays make a lot more sense because people our age can think about just like, damn, I can't believe I acted like that because that's just insignificant things.
Yeah,
Hormones,
we
just
are
like
rational now.
yeah, relatively rational, but more rational than like 16-year-old us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good to see it. I definitely understood a lot more of the emotional moments, sort of like getting picked on. Like they over exaggerated it for sure, but I felt it. I definitely understood where it's coming from. I'm glad they put that in there.
Yeah, I mean, we both grew up in a place that didn't really exist, but maybe it did somewhere else. So it seems like an adult was writing the book, but he obviously was attuned to the things that he experienced when he was younger because I
Yeah.
feel like it portrays that so well.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in inner city like Detroit for sure. But being a nerd very young, I changed my persona up in high school. But like being young, definitely had to deal with stuff like that, being bullied and things. But not like gang violence wasn't really as big as it is in this. Like it was around even when I was in high school. But like I've floated in so many circles in high school. I just really stayed out of all that nonsense.
Yeah, same. I mean, I knew people that were like in some bad shit.
Yeah, me too. But I was in so many different. I was a friend chameleon in high school. I was just testing all the waters.
But I
It didn't exist to me.
But I do. I think he is too because he's got a friend that's in ballet, and then he's got this other friend that can
Yeah,
get him a fucking 38
and I
snub
think that's
nose.
why I relate. That's why I think I relate to him so much. And again, it's a newer character. Peter Parker is my favorite superhero, probably if I had to pin down one. And he was created in like the 50s and 60s. Like it's not that relatable. Like they make him relatable. Like this was a character that was created when I was reading comics, and like I got to see issue 1 hit the stands. Peter Parker vibes and relatable. Like to me, it was just like a bunch of different things. And
Right.
reading it as an adult still hits home. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. You were maybe 10 years younger than the character when it first came out. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it really it brought me back emotionally to how I felt, and I feel like that's an important thing. Like, there's a lot,
It is.
not to get touchy feely, but there's a lot of superhero stuff. But as far as like how he dealt with things emotionally it
Mhm.
was pretty powerful writing, in my opinion, just to bring me
Yeah.
back there. But
Yeah. Dwayne McDuffie was a genius, man. He really was. And even with this ongoing series, but it's old. It is dated. I won't say it's not. It really
sure,
is.
yeah,
Like the
definitely.
way they, a lot of stuff that they've talked about, and we didn't even touch it, but there's a lot of like non PC moments, and it's
Oh,
like that
definitely.
wouldn't fly now. But that was the time.
Yeah, and well, I don't know if I said it while we were recording, but just like it was very much like House Party Kid and Play, like the way they were talking, like I didn't quite understand a lot of the lingo. It just not I wasn't a high school student in the early 90s.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was very 90s lingo. And again, this is like I said, it's like watching a house party movie or a Boys in the Hood movie. Like
Mm,
you had to be a kid or you had to be alive and talking. It's like things that we say now, like,
yeah,
little kids will grow up and never say them. I think we're weird for saying them.
right. It's like we're a generation behind, being born in
Yeah.
86 and 87. Uh, like we were 90s kids because that's when we're
Yeah.
aware in this anyway.
But we really grew up in like the
Right,
2000s.
yeah, that's like our
You know what I mean?
formative years, yeah. Early
Yeah.
2000s, late 90s.
All right, let's give this book a grade. Let's let these people get out of here.
They're just
I can't wait to do this live.
they're just commuting.
Right? There's no other way for me to rate this. I have to be honest with my true self.
Rude. You wanna go?
Yeah, I'll go first. No, I'm gonna give it a 5E. A dog. I knew what I was getting. I read what I was expecting. I wasn't let down.
Well, yeah, there was no part of it, and maybe it's just nostalgia, but there was no part of it that I was just like, "Ugh," it's
But like I said, and like I said before we started, like we are fully aware that this book came out in 1993. Like it wouldn't be fair to rate it on the same, rate it the same way that we do other books that came out, last month or this year or something like.
I will say the only lingo, and I brought this up earlier, the only
Uh-huh.
lingo that threw me off is, I think, in issue 4 where he says something about he's talking about Holocaust, he's like, "Why should I stop some dude trying to bust a nut?" And I'm like, well, that lingo doesn't carry over.
I'm gonna tell you right now, when I read that, I said, Simon, this is gonna make Simon giggle. And I said that.
I said issue 4, bust a nut. Ew. That's the only note that I have. But yeah, no, I'm immature. But anyway,
I'm glad you enjoyed it because this character in general, it means a lot to me. So
definitely. And I'm gonna read the rest of this.
yeah.
It was at that moment where I was like, this is not when I think this is issue 4, and I'm like, there's still like I still have like 50 pages left in this.
And this trade, Rebirth of Cool, is weird because it's first 4 issues. So it's like they wanted to give people in the collected edition, they wanted to give something for both fans.
I appreciate that,
But
but
but it's not explained very
yeah, it's
well.
confusing. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, I'm gonna keep reading it because I dig it, and I hope that they do the character justice.
What I want to do is I want to read, and maybe we talk about it again later on. Is maybe do the first volume of the most modern Static Shock, not this one.
Yeah.
Sort of like when he dives deep into his more intelligent side, where he creates like a board that's like a bunch of hexagons. It looks pretty futuristic, but I never read it before, so I kind of want to read it.
Hex, I mean Mephisto.
We're circling the drain, folks. I'm going to talk to Simon for a few minutes after this. It's getting pretty late though, but we will see you guys next week. We're going to be reading Department of Truth. I've only read the first issue, so it'll be basically me reading it the first time.
So check us out on Wednesday Pool Everything.
Yeah, WednesdayPool.com.
Look, yeah, you can find my Instagram, Simeon Toast, if you're into some toy photography. A Wednesday Pool Sime on TikTok. I do some BTS stuff on there. A
BTS,
lot.
sounds so bad to me, and I know it's not. It just sounds bad. Like I do some
I
BTS stuff on there.
I do some BTS stuff on there. We got some whips and chains, ready to go wild. I honestly think Backstreet Boys. I don't know why it's reversed.
Yeah.
VSD.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing some stuff on YouTube. We have some ideas. I forgot about the idea. We're gonna start doing window shopping because legitimately we did that for probably 45 minutes before.
It's not interesting, or we would have recorded it, but we just were looking at toys.
Yeah.
That I will eventually buy because I'm influenced easily. And
Yeah.
Lex is like, "That's cool," and I'm like, "I guess I got to get it."
Yeah. And now I have a even weirder hobby because now I want to buy toys and then send them to Simon to
Hey,
photo.
man, I'll take it.
So it's
I'll
an
take it.
even weirder hobby. I want to own toys, but I don't want to have them.
You buy the Marvel Legends. I'll buy the expensive stuff.
I'll just have the toys at Simon's house and be like,
Yeah.
hey,
Lex shelf.
yeah, they're there. But do you have toys or anything, Lex? Yeah, they're at Simon's house.
Yeah, he just I left them there. We play times.
We're Circle of the Drain, folks. We will see you next week.